Hey guys, welcome to another watch party. I am not in the nerd cave, not at all. If you were around for Tuesday's interview, you noticed I was in a hotel room. I am still in a hotel room. I'm actually on vacation, but I scheduled the vacation long before I knew that there was going to be a Tolkien adaptation airing in the middle of this whole shindig. So here we are. Thought I'd go ahead and just do one of these streams from a hotel room. So yeah, let's start off. Let me know where you guys are watching from tonight. Let's get some shout outs in the chat here. A little off sorts. I'm used to having all these multiple screens. Now I'm on a laptop, so it throws me off a little bit. I usually have some polls going by now. I need to get on it here. All right, so here's a question for you guys. Do you think anyone got taken out by Mount Doom last week? Will there be any casualties? That's what I'm curious of. I don't know. I'm of the mindset that I was supposed to sing for you. I don't remember singing. I don't ever remember agreeing to sing. Maybe when I get to 1,000,000 subs. If I get to 1,000,000 subs, that would be an occasion for singing. Rejun says, watching from the Philippines. It's up now, episode 7. Let's refresh. Let me go refresh my page. I see it's called The Eye. Oh, that's a fun name. Got to refresh here. I wasn't getting the play button. Does anybody actually have the play button? Yeah, I don't have the play button yet, guys. No, the football game went into overtime. I wonder if that has something to do with when they release it. So what do you think? Who's your money on if someone did kick the bucket last week? Who was it? Christopher, before you started the stream, everyone was saying they're enjoying the show more on rewatch, which the showrunner said was the main goal in that new interview. Last 2 episodes will be epic. I hope so. I hope it will be epic. I am planning to do like a watch through after the season is finished. So I can see it kind of. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do an epic like 1-day binge of the entire season, but I'm thinking it might be worth it to watch the episodes one after another over the course of a couple days or something. And yeah, see the story as it unfolds. I think I'd be less frustrated. There's been a few times where I've been frustrated by how little it felt like the story was moving forward week to week. And I think, that gets negated a lot by instances, where you have shows that drop all at once. It has begun. Has it? Purple Bond, thanks for the super chat. First live watch party. Very nice. Rainy Pro, Captain Kiwi, becoming members. Sam Cook, thanks for the super chat. Chuck, thanks for being such a great lore channel. This has always been my go-to place for my Middle Earth lore. Awesome. Well, thanks for making this your go-to place. Michael Kelly, thanks so much for the super sticker. Let's see. I'm going to keep refreshing here. I know this is super exciting for you guys to watch me refresh my browser. You guys will let me know, right? If we get a play button. Assuming you will. Yeah, the last few weeks we've had it quite early. Yeah, still no play button. Bees. Just popping in to say how much I love your channel, and I'm grateful for all your lore knowledge and passion for sharing it and Lord of the Rings in general. Awesome. Thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate it, my friend. I think we saw, oh yes, Ryan is a new member. Shout out to Ryan. I have a bad feeling Barrick didn't make it. Oh, I didn't even think about Barrick. Yeah. He might be toast. Galadriel's bro dies. Valendil or Ontimo. I don't know why I have such trouble pronouncing Ontimo. I want to add like extra letters. Yeah, I do wonder, like, purely because it established that he has a fiance and like they had that short scene in the pub or whatever. That made me think like, oh, that guy's toast. That guy's totally toast. So I was really surprised when he didn't die in battle. Start episode 6, then hit next episode. Does that work? Get out of here. That actually worked. Oh my gosh, it totally did. Okay, so if you go to episode 6 and hit next episode, it pops up. Ah, Helm of Eomer. Very nice. Tolkien reading charity event. Yes. So Mike, we a couple of my friends who you will no doubt know from other recent streams. We've been talking about Tolkien Reading Day and charity stream of some kind. We've got some pretty fun ideas, so stay tuned for that. Kevin, I think the Queen Regent dies. I think it's too early. Yeah. Jamal, I think you're cool and want to be your friend. Well, hey, we're all friends here. We're all hanging out, doing a watch party. Thanks so much for the super chat, by the way. Right now we've got a little over 1,300 wonderful friends. Girish, thanks for the super chat. Super sticker, I should say. All right, guys. So you all have the play button. The trick totally works if you go to episode 6 and then hit next episode, by the way. It totally pops up. But I kind of don't want to do that trick if nobody's following along with me. You know what I mean? Apocalypse here. I love this channel so much. It helps to be involved in these watch parties when I start a new job in a different state from my wife when she can't stay up this late on the East Coast. Awesome. Well, hey, hopefully you guys get relocated to the same location soon. I'm sure that's not the easiest doing the distance thing. Jonathan, I think the star constellation of the stranger is Menel Makar. I'm sorry, my pronunciation is terrible tonight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we'll find out more about the stranger this week because we didn't see him at all last week. So I think we might be seeing something. All right. We accept 30 to 45 minutes of post-ep commentary only if it includes Gollum voice for the last 5 minutes, like last time when you cracked from exhaustion. Oh, it might take less. I was in an amusement park all day today, so I am nice and worn out.
So we might go into Golden Voice much, much earlier places.
So in Rings of Power, Finrod hasn't been reincarnated yet. Apparently not. If he has, then Galadriel sure doesn't know about it, or else she probably would have stayed on the boat, right? Chuck, how could Celebrimbor possibly know that Morgoth wept when he beheld the Silmarils unless he Sauron forgive the spelling? Yeah, I think that's one of those instances. So I pointed out when I can't remember, that was episode 2, probably, I think. Um, he says something like, "It is said that, yada yada, this happened with Melkor." So it's a a story that people tell. It's not necessarily true. Um, so yeah, that's part of the thing. Like he wouldn't for sure know. I mean, it's possible that there were elves that were made thralls and slaves to Morgoth during the First Age, and some of them did escape. Um, but yeah, I presume that if such a tale were to come out, it would be from one of those. Philip, thanks for the super chat. I absolutely love your channel. Superb videos and commentary. I just bought the Dwarvish hat. Oh, very nice. Dwarvish hat. Yes. And shirts to support. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks so much, Philip. I really appreciate it. Oh, man. It's up. Is it up? People are always messing with me. It is up. Okay. It is up, folks. All right. Let's get the timer up. I'll give you guys. Oh, there we go. See, I have to use a different timer and everything too when I'm remote. Start already. Okay. We'll do. We got this. All right, guys. Timer's up. We'll give it a 5-second countdown. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's skip the. Yeah, we don't skip recap. It's just easier that way. we gotta watch the preview for next week now. One last episode. All right, folks. There we go. There's some interesting stuff in here to chat about. So Galadriel thinks Celeborn is dead. There ain't no way that's the case. Do all wizards of Tolkien's world have the ability to heal plant life? Or is that one wizard in particular? I feel like I don't think him healing the trees and stuff is necessarily like a slam dunk that it's a particular wizard based on that. Yeah. So Galadriel said she never saw Celeborn after that. My best guess is she only thinks he's dead. Also, Galadriel and Theo hiding from the orcs remind me of the Hobbits and the Black Rider. I totally wrote down that exact note about the Hobbits and the Black Rider. Very similar. Yeah, the Celeborn thing was definitely caught me off guard. I had assumed that he just hadn't met her yet, but she already has been married to Celeborn, which is interesting. Celeborn being dead is the first time the show has actually pissed me off. Hopefully a misdirect. Yeah, there's no way Celeborn's dead. No way. I don't buy that for a second. If he is, then what the heck? Like, no, that would be so god awful if Celeborn was actually dead. There's no way. Christopher, I'm pissed. All the reveals aren't until the final episode. I expected a lot more to happen. Balrog was cool. Mystics are interesting, and Meteor Man is definitely a blue wizard, but not enough happened. I'm still hoping for blue wizard, man. Same here. I'm curious. I don't know if we can get a sense for what direction he headed when he left the Harfoots. But yeah, the Mystics, yeah, I think there's some kind of human, mages slash priestesses of Melkor, something. Yeah, the Balrog, I think the Balrog is just a cameo. Like I don't think that they're gonna do the fall of Khazad-dûm in this show. Like that'd be so early. Yes, the Balrog did kill Durin the Sixth. I wouldn't put it past him to like throw it into this show to have something to talk about more. But gosh, yeah, I hope not. Because I feel like Khazad-dûm should be at its heyday throughout the duration of this show. Can you get an interview with Elrond and Durin actors together? That would be awesome because legit, Durin and Elrond is still 100% my favorite part of the show. Easily. Durin, I wrote down, one of my notes was like, Durin the Fourth is the beating heart of this show. Like, no question about it. He is the character that, like when he is happy, like he's about the only character that I feel the same emotions that he does when he goes through them in the show, or at least the one that that it happens the most often and is most reliable in that. Duncan, I think my expectations were sky high after last episode, felt let down and more confused with lore decisions. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, I don't buy the Celeborn thing. Um, the immediate thought with Celeborn in particular, that was the big one. That if I went back and watched my reaction, I was probably like, "What the heck?" But yeah, I think the Celeborn thing's definitely misdirection. And I wonder if this leaves open the possibility. I don't think she has a daughter now because that would have been the time to mention it. But Celebrion, like, I really want this version of Elrond to meet Celebrion and get married and have little baby Eladan and Elrohir. That's not till the third age, but still. Like, I want that. I want that for this Elrond, you know? I think the Balrog was a cameo. Either Halbrand is Sauron, or producers are the biggest trolls with these red herrings. What was the red herring in this episode? Because Halbrand just kind of pops up at the end. They did say, like, oh, we found him like that. So, like, could it be self-inflicted? Where he's like, oh, I'm going to give myself a wound and make it so they have to take me to the elves. Yeah, I believe Celeborn is dead about as much as I believe Isildur is dead. We'll say it like that. Not a chance. All right. Do it episode ranking. Almost forgot. Do this every time. More cumbersome on the laptop here. Here we go. Yeah, called Ontimo. R.I.P. Ontimo, I guess. We hardly knew you. Got to thin the herd a little bit, you know? Halbrand's looks like a sword wound. It does kind of look like a sword wound. This episode was off-putting. I know you meant to say off-putting, but I really like the term off-putting. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like pudding, but it's a little off. Like maybe one of the ingredients was wrong, and maybe that's a worthwhile phrase to describe the episode for you. Elendil is the most complex character in my opinion. Yeah, his change, like he seems pretty strongly not on board with the elves right now. And that's really interesting. Like I thought, just when I thought that he was fully on board with being among the faithful and was all behind this, like I don't know what you expected when you marched to war, essentially. Like there was a chance that your kid who you got to go on the boat was going to die. So you shouldn't necessarily be surprised by that. But yeah, so it's interesting that we're definitely gonna see more of his struggle between faithful and the Kingsmen that Farazan, I'm sure, will come to embody. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. Oh, did you guys catch, by the way, that last week, or was it last week? I don't know. Whenever it was, Tar Palantir told Muriel that the only thing waiting for her there was darkness. And I was thinking, oh, darkness because the sun will be blotted out. No, darkness is in she's blind now. So that's kind of crazy. Rings of Power has far eclipsed the budget of the Jackson trilogy and is now approaching its total runtime. Amazing how little has happened in season 1. Leland, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, I definitely expected us to be farther down the road. I know in some interviews and stuff, I think the showrunners had said something like season 1 was laying the foundation. I feel like there's too much runway here. If with still one episode to go, like it feels like there's been a lot of runway, and not enough takeoff. I guess I don't know. My analogy game is not at 100% right now. Yeah, it's like in some ways I feel like there's too much being crammed in so that nothing, like a lot of it doesn't get the attention it deserves or doesn't get the breathing space. But then, there's other aspects, from another point of view. I get it from the other side where it feels like not much has happened. So yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag still. Fire Shield, Isildur being dead the whole episode was so freaking annoying. Like, just show him like Halbrand and Arondir being dead until the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't mind that with a few of them, but like Isildur, like there's main characters that we know for a fact, like, yeah, they're gonna be here for 5 seasons. Like, don't leave us with that mystery. Halbrand, it's like, oh yeah, sure, he might be dead. So we've been faked out twice, by the way, on Bronwyn. Because first you think, oh, that lady, maybe that lady's Bronwyn. She turns around, nope, that's not Bronwyn. Oh my gosh, there's the lady covered with the blanket. That's Bronwyn. And that's the second time that I thought, oh, they actually killed her off. So I'm pretty sure the rule is, like, if you do 2 fake out deaths, the third one has to be real. So next time I expect, if there's a third time when Bronwyn is pretending to die, she has to actually die in the show. That's the rule. I don't make the rules, but I think that's it. Why would they call this episode The Eye? That's a good question. I don't know. Muriel's blind, but that doesn't make sense. Anybody got any theories? I'm very curious why they would call this episode The Eye. It does start on an eye. Yeah, that's true. Proclastic flow doesn't kill, and Celeborn is dead. Bo and Debbie, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Proclastic flow. I've learned a lot about it since last week. We talked about it quite a bit in our watch party last week. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't give a crap about Proclastic flow. Sorry, Pyroclastic flow. I don't know. I mean, if you want to get really like scientific about it, that's like the least of my worries right now. I'm more worried about what is going on with Celeborn and the fact that Halbrand might be Sauron, and that Galadriel and Halbrand might like have feelings for each other and stuff. Like, these are the concerns that I have, not Pyroclastic flow. Hope we get to see Pelargir in the season finale. It was interesting. They talked about it almost as if it was abandoned or something. And when we talked to Maxim, who plays Isildur, he kind of indicated that they do have settlements in Middle Earth. So I'm curious to see what's going on there. Not a good Balrog reveal, felt cheap. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just like I said, I just think it's a cameo, honestly. Because it's really far down there. It's gonna take them a long I mean, you saw how perilous um, you know, mining the mithril is and everything. Like I don't think they're getting to that Balrog for a while. So it was just like a cameo. Um, why was anyone else really rooting for any mannish character to die? The show really should have had a Sean Bean type death scene by now. Yeah, we kind of got that. Well, we almost literally got well, not literally. We almost got that exact thing essentially with the elf, the watch warden guy, Simon Merrill's character. He got shot by arrows. Adventures of Elrond and Durin needs to be a show. I would watch, like, if someone edited together just all the Elrond and Durin stuff, I'd probably watch that. Gotta say that's the most lackluster episode so far for me. Not much there. Only thing I found interesting was Dolrond. But yeah, Celeborn equals LOL. I don't know. I feel like there's other episodes that I've been more frustrated by. Like there was actually some compelling stuff in this, especially with Khazad Doom. Like I felt really really attached to that storyline. I thought that Disa's bit at the end when she was saying like someday we'll rule and we will dig, like I always thought that it would be Durin being like obsessive over the mithril, and now I'm wondering if Disa might actually be you know, really obsessed with this mithril digging stuff. She's a mithril digger. Get it? Like gold digger. Okay, I'm done. Feels like the show is in constant character development, but all characters remain one-dimensional, hence why it feels like nothing is moving forward. I wouldn't say all the characters remain one-dimensional. Sauron, goodness. Galadriel is the one that I have kind of felt like was the most one-dimensional. And it was kind of nice to see her like not showing the ropes, I guess, but like having to coach Theo a little bit. Like that was an interesting team up for me. Like she had some good lines in there that was like, "Oh, so she is a little bit wise. She's not like a total idiot," which was nice. I like that. We got a little bit of that last episode, and we got some more of it this episode, and I'm like, I like this Galadriel. Or at least I like her better, I will say. Yeah, I like seeing glimpses of the Galadriel we know. I feel like that should have happened much earlier in the show, but I'm glad that, we're getting her a little bit now. I can't remember. I don't think I wrote down exactly what she said to Theo. But for one thing, he wanted to like go in guns a-blazing against the orcs, and she's like, no, we lost. You need to accept that. And I was like, oh, that almost sounds like that almost sounds like character development or something. Juniper, thanks for a super chat. Thanks for hanging out with us even while on vacation. In a word, how are you feeling about the show after this episode? Oh gosh, I haven't been because I have been on vacation. I haven't been thinking about the show as a whole lot. So it's kind of interesting going into this because I've been so knee deep in vacationing and theme park planning and long days, very long days, that I haven't really thought about it as a whole. I mean, it's still like a very much a mixed bag for me right now because there's some things like the the mithril, the origin of mithril, and like the fact that it like the elves are gonna like die or whatever. Kind of, I don't know. It still feels weird to me. Um, yeah, it's mixed bag is what is the best, descriptor I can think of. I I hope that season 2 learns from what happened in season 1 and like what resonated with people and what didn't, and like some of the writing between the different parts, the quality of writing is shockingly different because a lot of the Kaza Doom stuff is really freaking good. And then there's other stuff that is just, I don't even know. I don't know what it doesn't sound anywhere near as good as like, some of the stuff, especially during the third, like some of his lines, and during the fourth too. But man, some of those Durin scenes between either the Durins or Durin and Elrond, or Durin and Disa, like all that stuff is really good, I think. For the most part. Like I again, I'm not like thinking I don't have the whole season fresh in my mind or anything, but there's a lot of stuff that I really, really like. And then we get other things, and I'm just like, what is this? Dave, I hope we have learned not to take a queen to battle now. Honestly, the choice in the show are comically awful, just insulting our intelligence. I did actually, so in the last one, I noticed that Muriel didn't actually fight um in the battle, which I thought uh was interesting because, usually in stuff like this that, old olden days where the kings fought and stuff, but not so much on this one. But then she gets right in the thick of it, you know, ordering the soldiers around, and then she gets, you know, burning wood in the face or whatever. Who do you think is the most likely contender for Sauron at this point? Do you think it's possible that he hasn't been revealed yet? That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Sauron is pulling some strings in Eregion, making all kinds of trouble. Wish Gandalf was there to tell Durin to throw himself into the mine next time and rid us of his stupidity. Yeah, that Durin the Third is mean, man. Radagast was the Maiar to Yavanna, so that's not a bad thought. I did comment before on the last breakdown. His beard is looking very brown. He'd be a much more serious Radagast this time around, I think, than what we got the last time. Villagers burned to a crisp and Galadriel 100% fine. Maybe not 100%, but yeah. I believe I have to look up the exact quote, but it is very hard to kill elves. Like, they're not the most destructible beings. So the fact that Arondir and Galadriel in particular were two of the less scathed, I'm okay with. Meteor Man is Radagast, much more likely now. Elendil crying aside, super cheesy. Mordor text reveal, very hokey. Okay, so the Mordor text reveal. Okay, so Radagast, I think maybe. Who knows? Elendil, I felt like the shot was very weird. Like I maybe I think too much about this, but I feel like a close-up shot of him would have been much better. Like, it was just weird, this weird middle, like a mid shot. Yeah, it was just a weird framing, and yeah, it was a weird cinematic choice there. That's just my opinion. The Mordor text reveal, I think would have been much cooler on a map. So I might be a little biased there, but I like my maps. It would have been much cooler if they would have did one of their transition things showing Mordor. I really liked the shot of Mount Doom with like the smoke just billowing out. Like, that's pretty cool. But it would have been cooler if they used that transition back to their map and then like it would have written like Mordor across it or something. That would have been cooler than just like fading on Southlands to fade off Southlands and then fade on Mordor. Seems silly. Elwyn, is the vow the queen made the one that leads to the fall of Numenor, because the vow was not just her own but covered Numenor as a whole? Sorry. Whew. No, so there's not a vow that leads to the fall of Numenor. Yeah, no. I think what will happen there, though, is her making that promise will lead to the Numenorians helping the elves in the war of the elves and Sauron after the rings are created, which maybe next episode. I don't know. Like, I'm starting to wonder if we're going to see any Rings of Power in this Rings of Power show right now. I was really hoping we would, but we only have one episode left. Celeborn and the Numenorian colonies being mentioned smacked of contrivance, like the writers went, oh, right, we forgot about these. Let's have a few name drops and we'll say they've been important right along. Yeah. Celeborn came out of nowhere. I did not expect Celeborn. Like, I feel like she would have been mad about that. Like, it was all about her brother. Like, this whole time, the show and the marketing has all been about her brother. And then out of nowhere, we find out, oh, Celeborn has already been here and they're married and he's presumed dead. Like, that's crazy. That came out of left field. Numenorian colonies, like, I don't know. They've obviously been very vague on that, on whether Numenor has colonies. But the Celeborn thing, it makes me very curious to go back and watch in hindsight, like after the season's over. Like I said, before the stream started, I'm going to go back and watch all the episodes starting with the beginning. And with hindsight, I'm very curious how that's going to play out. Because nothing against Finrod, but I feel like if her husband died in the war, she'd be like upset about that too. And that was like the first mention of it after all this. Kind of off topic. If elves reincarnate and go back to Valinor, does that mean Finrod is alive? What about elves like Feanor or Legolas's mom? Did they reincarnate? I don't know about much about the lore. So we don't actually know Legolas's mom. So all the Hobbit stuff, I'll help you right off the bat. All the Hobbit stuff about his mom is just totally made up. Okay, so we don't know anything about his mom. Presumably she was never in Gundabad. Nothing crazy like that. Feanor, he's gonna have to wait a while to be reincarnated. Like, it's pretty. it kind of becomes deeds based a bit. And Feanor, despite what someone will inevitably super chat here, did do quite a bit wrong. So he's gonna have to chill for a while. And then Finrod, I believe we are told he does get, unless I'm confusing him with someone else. But yes, elves do eventually get reincarnated and live in Valinor. It is very, very rare for them to go back to Middle Earth. Glorfindel is like the one that it happens to, which, saying that, makes me wonder if Celeborn, if they might do a thing where Celeborn has been reincarnated and gets sent back to Middle Earth instead of Glorfindel, which would just be another instance of Glorfindel being replaced in an adaptation. And I think people would lose their minds. And I hope that's not what they're doing. Again, there's a lot of things where I say, I hope that's not what they're doing. And we'll find out. Still love the show, but more story, less mystery. Amen to that. Yes. There are so many stinking mysteries, and none of them have been answered yet. It's like the whole, who is Sauron? Who is the stranger? Who is, I don't know. There's a lot of questions out there. I can deal with some, but like, man. Beric is like Sam from Lord of the Rings, the real hero of the show. I would say Beric is like Bill the pony from Lord of the Rings, if we're being a little more consistent with our horse convention here. When did leaves gain the ability to wake Balrogs? You didn't know that Balrogs are actually allergic. He wasn't roaring there. He was actually sneezing. He is highly allergic to linden leaves. And now he has been offended. And his allergies are flaring up. So who knows what he's going to do. Topher's World. Sauron needs a lot of moving parts. Do you think Halbrand gets revealed as Sauron, but also a jaw dropper with Anatar at the end of next week? So are you saying that there's like Halbrand and Anatar? Like he's two people in one? I don't think that's gonna be a thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I don't know. Presumably we'll find out if there's an Anatar next week, but who knows? Maybe it'd just end. Like, could you imagine if the finale was just like people traveling, like the Numenorians going back to Numenor, and then they get there, it's the end of the episode, and like Galadriel and Halbrand just traveling, and and the Harfoots going to look for the stranger, and then like they just arrive at their destination, and that's it. It's like, find out what happens next season. The Eye of Sauron is in the Southlands, now Mordor. Yeah. I guess, but like the Eye of Sauron isn't really so much a thing at the moment. Because where is Sauron? Like his I don't know. If Celeborn is dead, then where would he be? Why would no one know that he is alive? The timeline issues are enormous. Because if he shows back up alive, how long would he have been missing? That's a great question. So presumably, if he was fighting in the War of Wrath, I believe they've kind of hinted in the show of it being about 1,000 years after the War of Wrath. So yeah, he'd be missing for like 1,000 years. That's why. Okay, so my theory about him replacing Glorfindel is the one who gets sent back to like, because Glorfindel gets sent back about the time the Blue Wizards get sent. So Celeborn, if he takes Glorfindel's place, would be showing up around that same time, which would kind of check out. So who knows? Maybe next week Galadriel will show up in Eregion, and boom, her husband's there. Oh man. What if Galadriel cheats on Celeborn thinking he's dead, and Celebrian is the daughter of her and Halbrand? Oh my gosh, I'm not even going to finish reading that. That's horrible. Don't say stuff like that. Don't do that. Bronwyn had a fake death last episode, the arrow. She sure did. That's what I said. Fool me twice. Shame on me. Fool me 3 times, strike 3. I don't know. Nick Martelli, think of this series as a 5-part movie, and the pacing makes a lot more sense. But it's not a 5-part movie, though. It's a TV series. So, you know, got to pick it up. With the glowing eyes, what's your over-under on Sauron? Are we talking? Is Galadriel Sauron? I don't know. I kind of like that theory before. I don't think that's. I don't think Galadriel's Sauron. I think Galadriel just has some lessons to learn here. The cultist staff weapon thing has an eye on it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess it does. Kind of forgot about that. Pretty sure I mentioned that in a breakdown video. Are you kidding? Did you see Pompeii mummies? All dead. If I'm watching a documentary on Pompeii, I will keep that in mind. Thank you. Oh, I know. The pyroclastic flow thing. I get it. I just don't care. Like I said, I have bigger fish to fry when it comes to this show than pyroclastic flow. Watch Galadriel and Halbrand are about to kiss, but Celeborn shows up out of nowhere, and then Halbrand gets ticked and comes up with the idea of the rings. Rings of the Mid disappointed. So because he gets interrupted trying to kiss Galadriel, he it sparks the idea. Like, I know, I'm going to make rings of power. Okay, so if he's Galadriel, if Halbrand is Sauron, he's got to be like manipulating the crap out of people right now. Like, that's got to be a self-inflicted wound on him that he is wounded himself to get Galadriel to take him to the elves so that he can mess up stuff. Like, and the way he said, like, I will not abandon the Southlands to burn or something. I was like, this can't possibly be what Sauron really wants to do right now. No way. Right? Yeah. I don't think he's Sauron. I don't think so. I don't think so. Simon, not everybody is a volcano geek, but some attachment to reality is called for. Surviving that eruption was like showing people swimming underwater with no need to breathe. Maybe. I don't know. To me, it looked like ash. So yeah. Until I found out about the pyroclastic flow, I didn't think anything of it. But to each their own. I mean, people are going to have, I've always said, people are going to have different opinions on the show and on all kinds of aspects within it. You know, I get riled up about stuff that other people don't think is a big deal. And I don't get worked up about the volcano ash pyroclastic flow stuff, but some people do, and that's cool. You do you, man. Everybody fan how they want to fan. It's all good. Halbrand needs elvish medicine. You mean like Frodo needed it after he was stabbed by the Witch King, Morgul Blade? Yeah, that's exactly. Well, not exactly, but yes, pretty much. And my thought was like, well, you're an elf, so how about you give him some medicine? I'm really glad. Okay. So I was fully prepared for them to do what drove me crazy in The Hobbit when Tauriel does the medicine and then she like glows like Arwen does in Lord of the Rings. Like, it was like, no, I liked it when they did it with Arwen in Lord of the Rings, even though Arwen never saw the light of Valinor and blah, blah, blah. So she shouldn't have glown like that. There's a reason that Glorfindel did, and Arwen should not have. But they replaced them, and like, stepping aside from that lore tidbit. But then when they did it again for Tauriel, I was like, okay, you're just doing the other thing that we already saw. And yeah, I was fully expecting them to like be like, oh, we have this plant. Maybe you know it. It's called Kingsfoil. Oh, and then Galadriel says some elvish words, and then she glows, and Halbrand sees her, and it's like, oh my gosh, look at this lady, she's glowing. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad they didn't do that. I'd rather them go on a road trip than do the glowy thingy again. Theo is for sure the child of Arondir and Bronwyn. We haven't seen Theo's ears at all. Man. Curse that long hairdo. Shoot. He gave him a nice hug, though. That was nice. I like the Theo warming up to Arondir thing. I think Arda calling Galadriel a villain finally made her... Arda? Arda calling her a villain. Who called her a villain? Finally made her realize she's been pretty dark. Finally. Arda? Who do you mean when you say Arda? Oh, Adar. Right. Yeah. Okay. That's probably your autocorrect because you type Arda a lot. Maybe. But yes, Adar. Thank you. I was having a momentary lapse of trying to unscramble the words there. Yeah, I think that did. Hopefully, I was really hoping that like the villain of the show so far calling out how much of a villain you are would be a bit of a wake up call. So we'll see. Next week she might, go crazy again. Who knows? Steely, you mentioned theme parks. Have you heard about potential Lord of the Rings land at Universal Epic Universe theme park? Might there be Rings of Power tie-ins there? First question, yes. I have heard rumors that there might be a Lord of the Rings land, which would be amazing. I would freaking love it. You have no idea how much I would love that. Because I've been to a while back, I went to Harry Potter World at Universal, and they've done amazing with that. I love that theme park. It's really well done. And if they were to do that with Lord of the Rings, yes, I saw someone in the chat say I would go broke. Yes, my bank account would be in danger big time. And yes, I see Lord of the Rings land exists. It's called New Zealand. Yes. However, hear me out here. Like 2-hour plane flight versus 20-hour plane flight. I could see the allure in that. Or whatever. I haven't even looked up how far it would be to fly to Universal. I usually drive. I like road trips. It's kind of fun. I'm being reminded by my moderators. Thank you, Roak, Katie, for letting me know I'm coming up on 40 minutes. I did say I was going to try to keep it to 45 minutes. All right, we will go 10 more minutes here, folks. I've got to I'm on vacation and I've got to write a breakdown and everything. So I need to shut it down here soon so I can get on with it and not be a complete zombie as I'm herding kids around theme park tomorrow. Speaking of theme parks, yes, I would freaking love it. I don't think it needs a Rings of Power tie-in. I think if they purely just went off the Peter Jackson films, that would be the smart move, 100%. Those things are universally beloved, and you never know what's going to happen. There are 4 more seasons of this show, and you don't know what's in store or anything. Like, the Peter Jackson films are incredible. They're pretty much universally beloved, almost. Yeah, go for that. Let's thanks for the super chat. 2 a.m. in Brazil. Nice. Like the mystery drama pace of the show, but this episode's needs more after 6. Yeah. Needs more answers, I'm guessing, maybe. THR article left me excited for season 2. I actually haven't read the article yet. I did see something posted. Like I said, I've been on vacation, so I've been off the grid for a bit. But I need to read that article and see what it said. I rewatched the entire series today. Wow, nice. And it is better when you watch it straight through. In my opinion, you get more invested and it flows. I even like the Harfoots. Well, that's a pretty good sign right there. If you're, I haven't found recently. I haven't found the Harfoots. as grinding on my patience. Like I like the moment where the stranger heals the tree. I really thought that we'd finally get a conflict between the mystics, I guess is what we're calling them, and the stranger. I thought that would happen, but it didn't. So I guess it'll happen in the finale. Man, it just seems so late. Like, let's get to it, right? Psychosper, thanks for the super chat. My issues with this ep are that no one had trouble breathing in the eruption's aftermath, and Galadriel doesn't actually survey Halbrand's wound before deciding it needs elfin healing. Huh. I did not. I'll have to look at that for on replay. I thought that she like looked at it, but it wasn't showing her looking at it, kind of thing. Like we don't see her looking at it, but we just see her face, you know, as she's looking at it, kind of thing. They're bringing Halbrand to the elves to heal. Please don't make him Sauron, but let's be fair, anything is possible with the current writers. I have no idea what's going to happen with Halbrand or Sauron. Like they have teases on like the social media channels for Lord of the Rings on Prime or whatever, the like official marketing, you know, like their Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and it's all like, who is Sauron? Answers, you know, questions will be answered or something. It's like they weren't answered in this one. Maybe the next one, I guess. Finale time. All right. I think when Sauron appears, it's going to be super obvious. I feel confident on this take. Also, I expected more since the second to last episode. Yeah, I don't think it'll be subtle when Sauron appears. Like, if there's one thing I feel confident about is that the things, you know, meant to that we are meant to recognize, I'll say, the things we are meant to recognize are not subtle in this show. Like there's some things that are subtle, like small references and stuff, but like the big things they make sure you know. like like we all knew after last episode, we've known for weeks actually that the Southlands is Mordor for a long time. But like again, it's not subtle. Like we had the Southlands and then faded off for Mordor and stuff. Like they want to make sure all the casuals know for sure. Seems Eminem is either Sauron or a wizard at this point. Galadriel better this episode. That was the last time I ever saw him. Means Celeborn is definitely alive. 100% Celeborn and Isildur. They're totally both alive. Seems like the Balrog might come to town next episode. Do you think we'll have a lot of big action next episode or reveals both? Action, I don't know if we'll see action. Like I think the mystics and the stranger will probably be where action would come from, because the other storylines, so we've got the Southlanders are just migrating. Gosh, and Adar, like nobody's heading toward Adar unless Adar is going to come after the Southlanders and there's a conflict there. No, they're not migrating to Rohan. They're migrating to Pelargir. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think ring forging might happen next episode. Like if they get some Mithril. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen in the last episode. But my money would be on the stranger versus the mystics if there was action to be had in the next episode. And then a second guess would be maybe if the orcs and Southlanders meet up at some point while they're on the road. In the Battle of Sudden Flame, many elves were killed by the eruptions of Thangorodrim. Writers are confusing immortality for indestructibility. Yeah, so the Battle of Sudden Flame, we were told that Morgoth sends rivers of fire. So I don't know if that would be the same as this eruption, because this is like, again, it's like ash and stuff. I don't know. Just from the optics of it, it looks like billowing ash to me. Obviously, some people got hurt. There's some pretty messed up folks in there. Durin's wife is Sauron. Your face when Galadriel implied Celeborn was dead. Oh man. By the way, was The Hobbit that bad? I really enjoyed it, and that's what made me want to know more about Middle Earth. But I was raised on the OG PJ films. No, I enjoy The Hobbit much more than I think most people give it credit for. That being said, there's some very, very big departures and some, like anyone who's been around the channel for a bit will no doubt be able to tell you how much I despise the character of Alfred. It is like nails on a chalkboard anytime that character is on screen for me. But there are moments that are genuinely amazing. Yeah, and someone just posted about fan edits. Yeah, like my whole thing with The Hobbit is I don't think movies that are just terrible don't get fan edits. I think the movies that get fan edits are ones that where you can tell there's potential and that there's a lot of good structure there. Like there's a lot of good pieces there. So yeah, all that to say, I like them more than I think a lot of people give them credit for. So yeah, no, don't feel like you're wrong by enjoying the Hobbit movies. Hashtag Feanor did everything wrong. Amen. That he did. I saw someone else comment about Nori's eyes light up like the cultists in the promo for the next episode. I did see that. Finally, Galadriel a bit more like Galadriel and less like Feanor. Also, since Isildur is in the Southlands, I look forward to seeing him and Theo together, with Theo having parallel arc, but becoming a Nazgul. Interesting. Yeah, that will be interesting if Isildur is like left behind. That's weird, right? So that means, like, how's he gonna get back home eventually? Is the question. Maybe he meets up. Maybe he'll meet up with them again when they Elendil will ride to war in the War of the Elves and Sauron. I don't know. Elves' request being denied makes them more desperate to pursue other alternatives, more susceptible to deception. I hope that's the direction. Yeah, that could totally be it. All right. We're gonna go 5 more minutes, guys. I gotta call it. Gotta call it a night. 5 minutes. Kind of to your point, a lot of build up and no payoff. How do you think the Queen's blindness is going to tie into the story? I do wonder if it's going to make Farazan's usurping attempt easier. If there's something like that. Oh, there it is. Fintrago with his hashtag Feanor did nothing wrong. I knew it was coming eventually. Noob question, but what did Feanor do wrong? Well, it depends on who you ask, apparently. Where do we start? He was kind of a jerk, basically. He didn't give up any of the Silmarils so that they could remake the Two Trees of Valinor. He killed some of his fellow elves and stole their ships, and then he left the followers of Fingolfin stranded by burning the ships because he was not losing anything he lamented the loss of, or something. I can't remember the exact words. It's very poetic and wonderful Tolkien, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Yeah. So I can't. Yeah, it's very poetic language. You should read it. I can't think of it because my mind is not working right now. But Feanor did a lot wrong. The soundtrack does have a song called Sauron. Maybe Celebrimbor introduces Elrond to Sauron at the end of the season in his elf form. Could be. I would be very curious. I would totally be down for Anatar being someone we haven't met yet. I think that would be great, actually. All right, I'm going to do just a couple more. I love the throwback line. What is it? What do you smell? I wish he would have said man flesh, but that would have been too obvious. Yeah. I have no doubt they are pacing this as a 5-part movie. Y'all need to try to change your TV series perspective on this. It'll blend with the films. See, I appreciate that. And thanks for the super chat, Nick. But at the same time, it is a TV series. It's not a movie. So, and like even a movie. So like if it was a 5-part movie, I would still expect it to be like a 5-movie series. Like you would never make a 50-hour long single film. You know? I don't know. I still feel like, you could make the argument that season 1 could play out like a movie. But if that was the case, then like there still needs to be, I don't know. There's other issues as well. Like, the fact that we went so far into the season without any true idea of where we're heading. Even now, we are going into the finale. And what can you tell me right now you are looking forward to seeing in the finale? Like, I have no freaking clue what's happening in the finale. Like, usually when you're watching a TV show, you know what's coming in the next episode or have at least an idea of what's happening. But right now we have 3 of our 4 groups of people are traveling. And that is the main thing that they are doing right now. And then we've got the showdown with the Mystics and the Stranger, presumably, is like the one thing that I can look at. So Lord help me, the Harfoot storyline is the one I'm most looking forward to next week because it's the one that I have some semblance of an idea of where it's heading. I'll amend that by saying I'm always looking forward to the Khazad-dûm stuff. So I'm curious to see how that comes into play too. So yeah, all that to say, like, I don't think they get a free pass by saying like, oh, it's a 50-hour movie. Like a season needs to be entertaining and tell a story of its own. Disa speaking like that feels like she's Sauron. Oh yeah, she like got a little. She's ready to delve too greedily and too deep. It sounds like.
Just when the show gets moving, it slows down again. Filthy TV show.
Okay. Sorry, Nelly. I don't know why. I figured I had to end it with some Gollum voices here, because that's what the people liked last time. So we had to go with it. Nelly, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it did kind of slow down. I didn't mind it as much in this because it was fallout from all the other stuff. But yeah, I think my biggest beef right now is just not knowing where we're going, and we're going into the finale. Maybe Theo being Arondir's son could explain why he wasn't hurt after the eruption. Possible. Those ears revealed when they arrived to the camp. Now, I don't think there's anything that says like a half elven character couldn't have non-pointy ears, but I don't think he's Arondir's son. I'll just say that. All right, guys. I'm on vacation. I've got a breakdown to make tonight because I'm on vacation, says Mac, working while I'm on vacation. Yes, that essentially sums up the position that I am in right now. But I'm going to try to make it a quick breakdown. So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, that is it. As I said, I'm going to try to get to these super chats that we missed, maybe in the pre-stream time before next episode. So if you left a super chat and I didn't get to it, apologies, but I will try to read those off to start off the next stream as we react to this one, and then go into the finale. One more episode, guys. So we'll check in with you guys next week. We'll have a breakdown for you sometime tomorrow, or today, I guess I should say, because it's Friday. And then a lore video on Saturday, and rinse and repeat. We'll do it again next week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to hit the like button and all that good stuff. Thanks to the moderators who have been reminding me for the last 15 minutes that I needed to wrap it up because I set a limit on myself. And yeah, you guys are awesome. We'll do it again next week. See you next time. And thanks for watching Nerd of the Rings.